Well, on to more breaking news coming in. Stand by for the order on Freebies case. We have our executive editor, Rhythm, also joining us. Rhythm, in a short while from now, we can expect the order on the Freebies case. Take us through the details.
Let's tell our viewers, as we are speaking today morning, as the Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, is appearing in the Supreme Court on his last day as the Chief Justice. The order of the Freebies case expected any moment now. As we are speaking, the Chief Justice of India begins the dictation, and breaking news that's coming in. I'm going to start reading out what is being stated in the order, where the Chief Justice has started reading it out and spoken about the two things that he has to consider in this case, whether there will be welfare schemes that will be taken into consideration, or whether the Supreme Court believes that two sets of petitions are before them. They say one challenges the announcement of the freebies before election, and the second set of them challenge measures announced by the government which are not freebies. So live updates from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court Chief Justice has started reading out this particular order and said there are two sets of petitions before me. One set is challenging freebies before elections. The second says that the measures announced by the government are not freebies. As we are waiting for this order, the critical aspect that has to be seen is whether in fact freebies that are being given out by political parties are going to be seen as welfare schemes or freebies. In the last few hearings, we heard the centre and the top law officer for the centre, Tushar Mehta, tell the Supreme Court that freebies cannot be seen to be welfare schemes, and there's also a financial burden that is attached to it. We have to see what part the Supreme Court today takes when it starts it. I also want to go on, all right, several observations from the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice has also said we have considered the issues from various angles, and as well as the stand of the Union of India, the Election Commission and others. So electoral judges, okay, I'm just reading out what's being said. There can be no denying in electoral democracy the true power lies with the electorate, electoral judges, the party and the candidates. Now the Chief Justice says the worry that is raised by the petitioner is that under the guise of welfare fiscal responsibility is being dispensed, which must also be considered. So the Chief Justice of India, who started reading out and dictating the order, has said the worry that is raised by the petitioner is that in the guise of welfare schemes, their responsibility should not be taken away, it should not be taken on, and that is something that they have to look at. Viewers, top updates coming in from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court bench is going to be passing an order, whether it's in a plea that is seeking to stop political parties from promising freebies during the election campaigns. The bench that is being led by Chief Justice, Justice Ramana, giving out the order. The dictation has begun, where he's saying two sets of announcements are there that have to be seen. This one says that freebies should be there, the other says freebies should not be there. The Chief Justice goes on to say we've considered all the arguments that have been placed before us, whether they are by the central government, the election commission, the political parties, and there is no denying that in electoral democracy the true power lies with the electorate. They've also said it might be appropriate to constitute an expert body to examine the issue. So is that the way ahead has to be seen? CJI says that the expert body could possibly be able to examine this issue. We have to see whether that's what the Supreme Court is going to be doing now. They say the issues raised by the parties requires extensive hearings. Certain preliminary hearings needs to be determined, such as what is the scope, whether appointment of an expert body can serve the purpose. So the Chief Justice trying to get a sense of what needs to be done. He says many parties submitted that judgments require reconsideration, and the court in the said case held such practices would not amount to corrupt practices. All right, the Chief Justice of India reading out the judgment, as we are saying, but a very important indication of possibly what could be lying ahead, viewers, is the Chief Justice saying it might be appropriate to constitute an expert body to be examining the issue, which is the breaking news that's coming in, because the Chief Justice could clearly be giving out an indication that the way ahead is to go forward with this. Now, I also want to tell our viewers that as we are speaking, the bench is passing the order. The says many parties have submitted judgment in the Subramaniam Balaji requires reconsideration. The court held such practices would not amount to corrupt practices. All right. So as I'm waiting for this order, we have to see which side the court will be taking as this dictation continues in the top court. It's also being stated as we are speaking, as pictures are coming in. This order is being pronounced, and the court has said when this court deals with policy matters, it falls outside the jurisdiction of the court. We think suggesting a committee to prepare a white paper on this issue, and if an all-party meeting can be called. Issue requires extensive debate. They've also said we direct listing of the case before a 3-judge bench is formulated by the Chief Justice to look at the complexities of this case. I think the order is complete, and the Supreme Court has possibly said that this case will be decided on later on. The questions that are the scope for the judicial intervention are: can court pass any enforceable order? What should be the composition of the committee? So basically, viewers, I think as the Chief Justice is finishing announcing this verdict, there could be some sort of a committee that will be looking into the freebies matter. And the breaking news that's coming in first on Republic TV, this matter has now been referred to a 3-judge bench to be looking into the issues that have arisen here. So as I'm speaking, the matter is referred to a 3-judge bench of the top court, and the Supreme Court is, the Chief Justice said, looking at the complexity of the issues, we refer the matter to a 3-judge bench. All right, so the freebies case now going to a 3-judge bench to look into the issues that are there at hand. This case has been now issued. The Supreme Court has said there are many parties that have submitted the judgments in the Subramaniam Balaji case. It requires a reconsideration. The court also held practices would amount to corrupt practices. The breaking news that's coming in as we are speaking, the Supreme Court refers the freebies matters to a 3-judge bench to be deciding what needs to be done. They've stated there are several issues that need to be decided. Certain preliminary hearings need to be determined, such as what is the scope of the judicial intervention, whether appointment of an expert body by the court serves any purpose. Remember, what the court is really trying to look at is whether freebies are there for election gain, or whether it's a welfare scheme. The Chief Justice therefore passing an order which is therefore giving an indication this matter has been referred to a 3-judge bench, and they direct the listing of this matter to be looking into it. The Supreme Court also says where is ML Sharma and all and smile. Possibly this is the last day for Justice Ramana there, and some of the lawyers who appeared in this case and petitioners who appeared in this case are waiting in the courtroom for an order. And the Supreme Court has right now, viewers, said that all promises cannot be equated to the freebies. It's as per the directive principles of the state policy. That is one of the things before them. The Chief Justice says when this court deals with policy matters, it falls outside the jurisdiction of the court, and we thought of suggesting a committee. The issue requires an extensive debate. Some of the questions have been listed out. Finally, the Supreme Court says we refer this matter to a 3-judge bench formulated by the Chief Justice of India, and that is what is going to be examining this. Viewers, as this news comes in, let's tell our viewers what is really what we are talking about here. This is about whether the freebie schemes that are there by several political parties are pro-people, or this was an election tactic. We saw a marathon hearing in the Supreme Court, and there were questions raised whether unmitigated freebies that were being handed out by political parties would put a financial gain